Hello, everybody. I'm Melanie Rowe. I'm the Director of Client Care and Services. I've been in the role since August. I took over from Nancy. So, for those of you that I have not met, which is probably most of you because I've only met a handful of people in person, uh, welcome to this afternoon's training. This is actually our third meeting this week. We've had some great success. So, I hope that you enjoy the opportunity this afternoon. I just want to thank you for the work that you're doing. I want you to know it's not unnoticed. You're doing a fantastic job and you should pat yourself on your back for doing such a great job. I encourage you, again, continue with your PPE and your safe guidelines and protocols. It's working. You guys are doing an amazing job. So thank you for everything that you do. I hope that you enjoy this afternoon's training and I look forward to meeting you again in the future. Thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Carol.
Gotta unmute yourself if you want to talk.
That's right. I almost said it, but.
So the agenda. So I will be talking on the CARF accreditation. We'll have a couple of policies. So Erica will do the needle stick, Nadine responsive behaviors, Susan elder abuse, Nadine again medication management, and Susan health and safety mindfulness at work. So just a few, next slide please, just a few housekeeping items. So a lot Pam has already said. So again, a big thank you to Pam because we definitely wouldn't be here without you with all these Zoom and getting people signed up and getting everybody's name and getting this all organized. So I appreciate what you've done for us. I really thank you. So we've talked about making sure that we know who you are so that you get paid. We talked about unmuting yourself to state your name, so hopefully we've all done that. I said before, but just another reminder, if your camera is on, we can see you. So we don't want anyone embarrassing themselves, so we can see you. There's also, as Pam had mentioned before, a chat box. If you're on a computer, a laptop, or whatever, at the very bottom, you'll see a little speech bubble thing, and it says chat. So you can tap on that, and then you can ask a question. You can unmute yourself to ask a question, and you can put they have, they're called reactions on the bottom, and you can click that and put a thumbs up or a hand or something, and we will try and hopefully we can see everyone and get your questions answered. Also a reminder that this session is being recorded. So first off is CARF. So before we get started, what we have throughout the presentation are some poll questions. So Pam will be putting a poll on the screen and then asking you to tick off whichever the question is, depending on what the question is, your answer, and then she'll be giving us the results. So the first poll is, have you participated in accreditation at CHATS before? So she will launch the poll in a second. You can press yes or no and then submit, and then we'll get the results. So please answer the poll now.
Okay, so it should have come up on your screen. The question, have you ever participated in accreditation at CHATS before? We have about 56% of the people have voted, so there's still some more votes to come in. So just let us know yes or no if you've participated in accreditation at CHATS before. We have about 80% of the people who have voted, so I'm gonna give you a few more seconds for those who haven't voted yet, and then I'm gonna end the poll. Okay, I'm gonna end the poll now and I'll show you the results. Okay, so as you see, it's pretty close with this group. So 53% of you have participated in accreditation at CHATS before, and 47% have not. So there, that's good information for us to have.
Yeah, thank you so much for voting. And it's interesting because there's a lot of PSWs who have been with Chats for quite a few years, because through the other 2 meetings, this is, as Pam mentioned earlier, this is the 3rd meeting, and the number of yeses have been pretty high. So I'm very impressed. So hopefully we can teach you a little bit. So accreditation is it's a continuous improvement process. There will be surveyors, who are volunteers, who will come on site and see and assess how we comply with a set of best practice standards. So it's a process that adds value to Chats and to our clients and to yourselves. And this is a volunteer, so we choose to do this. And we choose to do this because we want to provide the best quality service and continually learn from other organizations. So Chats has been accredited since 2001. We started off with Accreditation Canada, and in 2018 changed the accreditation body to CARF. In 2018, we were awarded a 3-year accreditation, which was the highest level possible. So that meant that we demonstrated a high level of compliance with required standards, and got some wonderful positive feedback from the surveyors. So CARF stands for the Commission on Accreditation of Rehabilitation Facilities, but they don't go by that, they just go by the acronym CARF. So it's a nonprofit organization who promote quality, value, and optimal outcome of services, and a continuous improvement process. So you can see that there's many accredited programs, all different countries, and the philosophy is that the moral owners of CARF are the person served, and for those that don't know, the person served are the clients. Next slide, please. So what we've been going through are some standards and questions. So this is an example. So service delivery is scheduled at an agreed upon time that supports the person-centered plan of care. So what is our process for determining the schedule for service delivery at an agreed upon time that supports the person-centered plan of care? How do we determine the preference or lifestyle needs of the person served? So you know that the supervisors will go out and complete a home visit with the clients, with the person served, review the duties that we are able to provide for them, find out what they're wanting, work out the times, the days, the duties that's necessary. So it's a consultative process. It's not just us telling the clients what we're going to do for them. It's that conversation to find out what they need, and we want to make sure that we're meeting their needs. Next slide, please. And next slide. Thank you. So we are expected to conform to the standards, and we have to demonstrate that during the survey. So we have to prove what we say we do, we actually do. And then once this is all over, CARF will determine if we receive a 3-year, 1-year, provisional, non-accreditation, or preliminary accreditation. So I think we're all hoping for 3-year, and I'm sure that we will achieve that. So we're in COVID, and we will be when we're going through accreditation. We don't have an exact date as yet, but it will be in April, and it will be virtual. So it will be, as they are calling it, digitally enabled. It'll be the same survey, we just have to do it in a different way, like we're doing our presentation right now. Normally we meet face-to-face, and we're doing it virtually. So it probably will be a little bit more challenging because it will be virtual, so we need to find ways of sharing our culture. Because when the surveyors, for those of you that have participated in, for those of us that have participated in accreditation before, when the surveyors walk in, they see you. They see the site, they feel the warmth, they feel the camaraderie between staff and what's going on. So that's really a little bit more difficult to do when you're doing it virtual. So we need to try and figure out how to do that. And we also need to find creative ways to showcase what's happening across chats and all the different programs that we offer. So how will this affect you? I'm sure that's the question on your mind. So the surveyors will go to every site, every assisted living site, every adult day program and community program. You may be asked to participate in an interview with a CARF surveyor, but you definitely will be notified in advance. And again, they're going to ask you questions that you have the answers to. Things that you do, how you do it, why you do it, what would you do if? So what would you do if there was a fire evacuation at your site? You know the answers, so you'll be able to have that conversation with them. And what's next? So we're continuing to work to fill the gaps that are identified in a self-assessment that we're completing. We're implementing a communication and an engagement plan for the organization. So you all are receiving invitations to the staff update meetings. Staff, they're not called update meetings. The staff update meetings, whatever. And then there's CARF education at them. So I encourage you to attend those so that you can hear what's going on, you can learn. There will be some team meetings and we're trying out some other approaches to get engagement of everyone so that you're not feeling uncomfortable. And we're just working through, as mentioned before, the logistics and how to participate in a virtual survey, because that's new for us as well. So does anybody have any questions? So again, you can type them in the chat, you can put up your hand, you can unmute yourself and ask.
Carol, I'm not sure if you covered this, but did you want to talk about the mock surveys?
Okay, thank you. You're right, I didn't. So we have 2 mock surveys that are planned. One's the end of February, one's the beginning of March. Can't remember the exact dates. Where it's we have one person that's assisting us with the survey, and we'll be doing a mock survey. So we may, go to one site, one assisted living site, one adult day program site, try out the tablets or the iPhones or whatever we're going to use for virtual, and and just she'll ask you the questions too, as well as myself. So are there any? I don't think there's any questions in the chat. No one has unmuted themselves.
I don't see anything. No.
Okay, so we're going to move on. There's another poll. So now that you know a little bit more about accreditation, how are you feeling about it? Can't wait, bring it on? Sounds like a great idea, but I wish we had more time. Still feeling unsure and nervous about it? Or I understand the value of it, but I just want it to be over. So if you could choose what best suits you and then submit.
So I've launched the poll, and I just want to make sure everybody knows that these polls are anonymous. So you can be as honest as possible, because we don't know who said what. So just let us know how you're feeling. We have about 60% of the people have voted, so we'll give a few more seconds.
With this poll, there's no right or wrong answer. It's how you're feeling.
We've got about 81%, so I'm going to end the poll in a few more seconds. So if you haven't already voted and you want to vote on this poll, please do. Okay, I'm going to end the poll and I'll show you the results. So the results are 36%. I'll start at the highest amount. 36% said, sounds good, but I wish we had more time. Yeah, sometimes people think we're crazy going through this during COVID, but We are anyway. 30% is tied for can't wait, bring it on. So there's some enthusiastic people, and then also 30% said I understand the value, but I just want it to be over. So that's honest too. And 3% said still feeling a little nervous about it.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah.
We're hoping with all the education and training that will alleviate that. All right, so we're going to move on to the policy reviews that I mentioned earlier. So elder abuse, medication management, needle stick, and I will pass it on to Erica, who will be doing the needle stick policy.
Yes, thank you, Carol. Hi, everybody. It's so nice to see so many of your faces. And if I can't see your face, I'm seeing your name, and then I'm seeing your face in my head. It's so nice to see how many of you that are joining us. It's been a long road here with COVID, but it's so nice to be able to connect with everybody and get together. So like Carol had mentioned, we're going to move on to some policy readings, and the first one we're going to look at is needle stick sharp injury prevention and treatment. So this policy, it outlines the responsibilities of CHAT staff in the event of a needle stick or sharps injury from an object contaminated with bodily fluids. So example, blood, or an object where contamination is also unknown. A sharp is defined as any object that has a potential of cutting or penetrating human skin. So example, lancets, insulin pens, needles, broken glass, scissors. Never place your hand in front of a sharp. Use a tool wherever possible to remove the needles. Never recap the needles. Clinical sharps are single use only. Instruct the client that you must dispose of the needle or lancet. The client should be the one who will recap the insulin pen or remove the needle on the lancet. Ensure that the client does not hand you an uncapped or exposed needle. Have the client place the insulin pen and lancet in a plastic tray or bowl before handing the needle back to you. Clients must have a proper sharps container in their home. If they do not, please report to your supervisor immediately so we can make the proper arrangements to get one in the home for you. When the sharps container is filled to the marked level, it should be returned to the pharmacy for free and safe disposal. If you're noticing that the sharps container is full or at the limit, please let the family or even the client know that it needs to be emptied. And if for whatever reason, if it doesn't get emptied, please again report to your supervisor so we can speak with the family and make sure that there is a safe disposal for not only your safety, but the client's as well. In the case of an incident involving a needle stick or cut from an unknown object stained with blood or other bodily fluids, you should allow the wound to bleed freely, wash with soap and clean water, and apply a dressing. Apply pressure through the bandage if still bleeding. Do not squeeze or rub the injury site. Immediately inform your coordinator and supervisor of your injury. Leave work immediately, if advised, to receive medical advice and treatment at the emergency department or the nearest hospital. Time is of the essence. Treatment must begin within 1 to 2 hours after the injury to be most effective. If cut is from an object that is not contaminated with blood or bodily fluids, proceed with first aid and notify your supervisor immediately. Seek medical advice and treatment if indicated. So again, always remember to report to your supervisor, and if you're working after hours or on the weekends, on call would be the appropriate supervisor for you to contact. Now, does anybody have any questions in regards to the needle stick policy? Anything at all, you can either put up your hand, you can write it in the chat box, you can unmute yourself and ask.
I don't see any in the chat box. We'll just give another minute or so. Okay, doesn't look like there's any questions.
Okay, so we're going to move on to our second poll of the meeting. So what is the first thing you should do if you have a needle stick injury? Go to the hospital, allow the wound to bleed freely, wash with soap and water, call your supervisor, or talk to your coworkers about it.
So I've launched the poll. So what's the first thing you should do?
Allow the wound to bleed freely. Wash with soap and water.
Okay, we're getting closer. We've got about 75% of the people have voted. So I'm going to give a few more seconds for people, and then I'm going to end the poll. So what do you think is the first thing you should do? Okay, I've got about 85% of the people that have voted. So I'm going to close the poll in about one more second. If there's any last minute, I'm going to end the poll and I'll show you the results. So the results are 78% of the people said allow the wound to bleed freely, wash with soap and water. 16% said call your supervisor, and 6% said go to hospital. Did you want to comment on that, Erica?
Yes. So the first thing you need to do is allow the wound to bleed freely. This will hopefully be able to get the blood moving and get rid of anything that could maybe have you've come into contact with. Wash with soap and water, of course. That's the first thing you're going to do. After you do that, you're definitely going to call your supervisor. You're going to need to report this so that we can, again, if it's after hours, you're going to call your on-call, or if it's on the weekend, it's on-call. But definitely report to your supervisor at hand so that we can organize your clients for the rest of the day if we do need to send you over to the hospital for treatment. It's really important that we know where you are and what's happening with you so we can follow up and make sure that you are safe and able to review the client's care plan to make sure that you are okay. So yeah, so allow the wound to bleed freely is actually the first thing you need to do before you call your supervisor. Okay, so we're moving on to responsive behaviors.
And I believe that's
Nadine.
Nadine. Don't forget to unmute yourself, Nadine.
Thank you. So can everybody hear me yet?
Yeah, we can hear you now, Nadine.
Okay, hi, my name is Nadine. One of the PSW supervisors, and I'll be speaking to you today regarding responsive behaviors. So responsive behaviors refers to persons with dementia and how their actions, words, and gestures are a response to something that is important to them. Their response may be in the form of words, gestures, or actions used to express something important about their personal, social, or physical environment. All behavior has meaning. It is our job to figure out the meaning and to design a way of working successfully with our clients. We need to understand the why of the behavior in order to develop the how of prevention. Clients with responsive behaviors are often trying to achieve one or more of the following outcomes. Escape. Client wants to be free of a particular stimulus in their environment. That is, they may wander. Attention. Client is seeking social interaction. Tangible. Client wants to access a specific thing, an item, an activity, an environment. Sensory. Client is stimulated internally by the behavior. Clients may be suspicious, restless, exhibit sexual behavior, repeated actions, example, drumming their fingers, or show aggression. You need to look for the cause of the behavior. You need to reassure the person and distract them with another activity. You can calm them down with music or touch. You could change the subject. Don't argue or try to reason with them. Don't judge or scold. Try your best to stay calm. Any questions on responsive behaviors?
Again, you can put them in the chat or unmute yourself if you have any questions about that policy on responsive behaviors. I don't see any. So Nadine, should we go to the poll?
Yes, so here's a poll. What are some ways to address a client's responsive behaviors? Is it distract them with an activity? Use music or touch to try and calm them down? Don't argue or scold them? All of the above.
Okay, I've launched the poll now. The answers are coming in. We've got about 70% of the people who have voted, so I'll still give a few more seconds. Okay, I'm going to end the poll in about 3 more seconds. We have over 80%, so. Okay, I'm going to end the poll and I'll share the results with you. So 90% of you said all of the above, meaning that all 3 of those ways are ways to address a client's responsive behaviors. Anything else to say about that, Nadine? Looks good, eh?
Looks good, Pam. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing the results. And we'll go on to the next screen. I think Susan is up.
Hello, everyone. My name is Susan Hoyt. I'm one of the PSW supervisors at Assisted Living. Today, we are going to review the elder abuse policy. Elder abuse is defined as any action or inaction by any person that intentionally causes harm to an older person. There are 5 types of elder abuse, including physical, psychological, emotional, financial, sexual, or neglect. All incidents of elder abuse or suspected elder abuse must be reported to your supervisor as soon as possible for their immediate follow-up. CHATS has an elder abuse protocol manual that the Caregiver Education Council will follow during their investigation. In situations of spousal elder abuse or alleged spousal elder abuse, the CEC, the Caregiver Education Council, will refer the matter to a non-emergency police and ask an officer to visit and to take a report. CHATS will support the investigation by providing information. Any questions?
Any questions for Susan or the other supervisors about elder abuse? That was just a short one, but a very important topic, obviously, for what you guys do. Okay, do you want to introduce the poll, Susan?
Okay. So the poll is, who should you report to if you suspect elder abuse with one of your clients? The client's family, your coworkers, your supervisor, or the on-call supervisor?
Okay, I've launched the poll. These ones are coming in quick. Yep, this one's coming in pretty quick. I'm just going to give another couple seconds. Okay, I'm going to end the poll. And not a surprise, everybody chose that you would report to your supervisor or the supervisor on call. Sounds good, eh, Susan?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So next we're on to a big one, medication management. I think it's back to you, Nadine.
It's back to me. Oh, okay, here we go. Can everybody see me? Yes?
We can't see you, Nadine.
You can't see me?
No. There you are. I can
Okay,
see you
thank
now.
you.
Thank you.
So medication management is a service in which the PSW will visit the client at defined times and provide medication assistance. The PSW will document that medication management support has been provided. The 5 rights of medication administration are embedded into the PSW's practice. All clients are confirmed using 2 identifiers. Hand hygiene is performed prior to administering, assisting, and gloves are worn when handling medications. Care plans are developed on an individual basis that guide the actions of CHATS staff. PSWs provide medication support for tablets, capsules, patches, eye, ear, and nose drops, creams, ointments, and pre-dosed oral liquid medications. Scheduled oral medication, prescription, and non-prescription must be dispensed in pharmacy-labeled time-of-day packages, such as a blister packs, strips, by the client's pharmacy. A dosette does not comply with this requirement. Other forms of medication, injections, inhalers, patches, eye, ear drops must be clearly labeled by the pharmacy, including detailed instructions for use and specified times to be administered. Liquid medications must be pre-poured to the appropriate dosage and labeled appropriately. For clients using a non-prescription medication, that is vitamins, over-the-counter pain medication on a scheduled basis, the client and family will work with their physician and pharmacist to have these medications included in the label time of day packages. For as needed non-prescription medications, the medication must be stored in its original manufacturer's labeled bottle. If the blister pack label does not match what is packaged, the PSW or supervisor will call the client's pharmacy/family. If a medication error is discovered, the pharmacy or the family will be requested to redispense the medication packages and remove the old ones. Identifying staff will complete an incident report or note indicating the name of the pharmacist, name of pharmacy, location, and phone number. Verbal orders for medication changes are not accepted by CHATS staff. CHATS staff will not remove medication from a blister pack. PSW should request training if they have a gap in knowledge regarding medication administration. Any questions?
So just before we get to the questions, I just want to clarify the second last point. CHAT staff will not remove medication from a blister pack. So I need to reword that. What that means is that if the client says, oh, I don't like that pink pill, it upsets my stomach, take it out for me, you cannot take it out for them. If they want to take it out themselves, that's their prerogative. You need to report that. But we will not remove that one pill for them. But what we do, of course, is we punch out the medication from the blister pack and put it in a bowl or a plate or something. So I just want to clarify that last point. Sorry, thank you. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions for Nadine or Carol about medications? That's a lot of information in there. You can unmute yourself or put it in the chat box.
I got a question.
Sure, Samaya.
Is this, how about the clients they're not under chat monitoring from the medical, like we see them, but we don't have any pink sheets or anything to manage them. Do we still report those people too?
Well, depends what you mean by reporting. So we're not
I mean,
providing.
if you are missing the, like we see the pills on the floor.
Yeah,
or
I would definitely be reporting that to your supervisor, just
Yeah.
so that they're aware of it, and maybe that's a conversation that the supervisor has with the client or the family to invite them to, that we would be able to help them with their medication. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
That's part of your ongoing monitoring of the clients and, you know, reporting any changes that, you know, that you see. No,
Okay,
that's
thanks.
perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Maya. Anybody else have any questions that you want to ask Carol or one of the supervisors about medication?
I have a question.
Yes, Shaman.
Okay, you know when we give a medication as off the counter and the client is unable to open the cap, we can just open the cap, but we cannot take up the medication from the bottle, right?
Yeah, if the client is self-directing, so the supervisor, it needs to be part of the care plan. The supervisor needs to be aware. So if the client can say, oh, I have a headache, you know, right over there is the bottle of Tylenol. Can you please bring that to me? But maybe because of arthritis, they're unable to open it. Yes, you can open it and hand it to them and they can pull out their one Tylenol.
Okay, but we are not allowed to take them out though.
Correct.
Okay.
Thanks, Shaman.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions about medications?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Anne.
Yeah. My question is, we have a client at Parkview. She has dementia. She doesn't even remember anything at all. And we have to give her medication, and it says medication reminder. But each time we tell her, she doesn't understand. And they keep saying it's COVID. They're trying to get a placement in long-term care. But so we're sometimes, you know, compelled to take it out of the docile pack and give it to her on the table, but she puts it in her mouth. Are we doing the right thing?
If it's not on the care plan that she is medication management and she's only a reminder, then no, you shouldn't be touching the medication. You should just be reminding the client. And it depends on, you know, whatever conversation the supervisor has had with the client or the family. You know, so no. So if the client is a reminder, they're a reminder. You know, Mrs. Smith, it's, you know, noon, it's time to take your medication. But if, you know, you're saying she has dementia and it's not working and she's not taking her medication, you report that to the supervisor. And then that's a home visit, that's a call, a conversation to see if maybe we can get them onto the medication management program.
Okay, then we're going to let the supervisor know, because she doesn't take it unless they take it out of the
Yeah, so speak to Linda, and then she'll follow up with the family or the client, or the family or the client, and see what we can arrange.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Anne.
Yeah.
Any other questions? No, nothing in the chat box, Pam?
No, nothing in the chat
I have a
box.
question, sorry.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
no problem.
Okay, I just wanted to find out, you know, when you have a blister pack, right? And some of the clients have a blister pack starting during the weekday, right? And some of them that start from Monday to Sunday, some of them start from Wednesday to Wednesday.
Right.
Is there any way, because sometimes, you know, we are all human beings, sometimes we make an error, you know, punching the wrong days, you know, and then all of a sudden we realize, oh my God, today is Wednesday, it's not Monday. And then we have to fix the packages. Like what I'm trying to say is, okay, so say by mistake, today is Wednesday, right? And I punched in Thursday. And then I realized, oh my God, today is Wednesday, but I haven't taken it out of the package yet. I just punched in. And then I realized, oh, today is Wednesday. And then you go back and you put a tape underneath so that that pill stays in its place. And then you punch the correct one. But you still report to the supervisor saying that you punched in the date there, but you fixed it, and you put a red tag on your communication book that you made an error.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Is there any way we can tell the clients rather than, not the clients, because some of the clients, they don't know the family brings the blister pack or the pharmacist drops to them. Is there any way going forward we can stop making this error and start medication from Monday to Sunday every day?
Yeah, you know what? I think that it depends on the pharmacy. So we can't tell them what to do. We can ask, we could, you speak to the supervisor, and then they could follow up with the family or even the pharmacy directly and see if they're able to change the day that the blister pack starts. But I do believe it's the pharmacy that kind of has whatever system they have.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, I mean, absolutely, we can try. We can do our best to try. I don't know if it's going to always work, but we can do our best to try.
Right. I mean, like, yeah, you're right. Always the pharmacy doesn't fix it, because when we tell them, they say, yeah, we'll fix it next time when we, when the new package is delivered, but still they do the same thing. They don't fix it.
Yeah, so it's, the family needs to give them a call, or the supervisor needs to give them a call, and hopefully they'll
Some
do
of
as
the
we
clients
ask.
have already agreed to start on Monday. So what we do is we call the pharmacy and say, okay, you know what? Starting next week, we're going to open a new pack, but the bottom one, we'll finish it till Sunday, and then the new package will start on Monday. So the rest of the package that we not used it, we'll return it back to the pharmacy.
Yep.
So when the next visit the pharmacy comes in, takes away the unused medication, and they take it away, right? And then we start with a new one, which is fine with the pharmacy. And we also speak to the supervisor, so the supervisors know that these changes have been made.
Yep. As long as the pharmacy will do it, then that would be wonderful. But I mean, it also brings up the other point about, really taking that minute.
Yes.
And taking that minute to say, what is today? Oh, today is Wednesday.
Right.
And looking at the blister pack and making sure that you have the right day and the right time. So that's it's very important. There have been a few medication errors that have been coming from, a variety of the assisted living sites. So it's just, we did this last quarter, or the last time we had a quarterly meeting, where we took a minute. And if you, on your own time, if you just get out your watch or a clock with a second hand and be silent for 1 minute, you'll be surprised how long that minute is.
Right. Yes.
So in that minute, just make sure that you look at your 5 rights of the, the 5 medication rights. The right time, the right day, everything.
The right dose and everything,
Yeah, so we know everybody is human, but we also know that we need to be very careful and not have any medication errors.
Right.
Yeah. I was just going to remind Shamim about that, the 1 minute time.
Yeah.
So, when you go into each client, especially around medication, don't rush, You have to be in the moment and pay attention to what it is you're doing, so that you don't punch out the wrong one on the wrong date. Okay, Shamim?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to get an information, like, sometimes it happens, right? And
yeah,
then,
absolutely. Yeah, no problem. Yeah,
you get sometimes distracted by the client too, because she's talking to you, and then you want to answer, and then you're doing the medication at the same time, and then you realize, oh my God, I punched the wrong one. And then right away you put a tape underneath to make sure that those pills doesn't fall out. And then you go and document in your communication book and put a red sticker saying that this error was made but was fixed.
Right. We still consider it a medication error, right? So we still have to report that.
Right. Yeah.
And that's why it's, and you do get distracted, and the clients do, talk to you. So you just need to make sure that you're in the moment and just say, give me 1 second, just to make sure that you've got the right everything for the medication.
Right.
I see there's a question in the chat box.
Yeah, it's from Rebecca.
Who should I call at first? Is it PEP?
I thought it was more just for the first first step for a missing medication would be my guess.
Because it says pharmacy supervisor.
Yeah. Who should I
family.
call it the first step for the missing medication? Maybe something like that. Do I call pharmacy, supervisor, or family?
I'd be calling the pharmacy because they can let us know if we can
To give
give
it-
that medication at the next visit. You know, if we missed breakfast, then we can give that medication at lunch. Or if they'll say, no, 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 forget it, you know, it's okay, just move on to the next medication. So they'll have that information to us, or for us rather. So I would be having the first call to be the pharmacy, and then the supervisor of the family.
Sound good? Any other questions about medication?
Yes, I have one question.
Dunio, yeah.
Yeah.
So Carol, I have question regarding for you said the medication for, if for example, if I open the medication with the client if they need it, but I'm not allowed to give it to the medication, just only I open. But if they take more than one tablet, let's say Tylenol, and clients have arthritis, they cannot open. But once I open on the box, and instead they take one, they take maybe two or more. How can I and I explain and they didn't listen.
Well, we need to make sure that it's for the clients that are self-directing that can make that decision that they would like that bottle of Tylenol. And the supervisor, you'll know that based on the assessment from the supervisor. If the client does, I mean, you definitely want to say, oh, you know, you've taken two, you know, are you sure that you want two? You might want to have that conversation with them. If they say, no, I know I want two and I can take two, then you need to document that as well, that they've taken it. And you're in the day program, correct, Junio?
Yes, and assistant living.
Yeah, so and assisted living, yeah. So in assisted living, you would be putting it on the pink sheet.
Yes.
In day program, you could report that to the supervisor. Well, they probably don't have the pills in the day program anyway. It would only be referring to assisted living. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Dunio.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions about medication? Okay, sounds like we can move on to the poll for this question. Nadine, do you want to read the poll out?
So how do you know if you're supposed to provide medication management services to a client? Is it by asking your coworker, reading the client's care plan, or give them the medication you see lying around in the apartment?
These ones are coming in pretty quick. We're at about 70%, so I'll give you a few more seconds. And there's another medication follow-up question after we finish the poll, so we'll get to that one. Okay, I'm going to end the poll and I'll show you what the results are. So 97% of you said that you would read the client's care plan to know if they're supposed to provide medication management services. Okay, so that's good news. Anything else to say about that part, Nadine? 97%, yeah.
97%. Some said you'd ask your coworker. So anything to do with the medication, you must read the client's care plan. If you are unsure, as we said, and you need any further training, it can be done through the supervisor. If you need further training, just let the supervisor know and they can set it up for you. Not asking your coworker, the care plan is where you go to in terms of medication. Thank you.
Thank you. So there is a follow-up question from Rebecca, and I believe it's regarding, oh, Priya just said, it's my bad, I accidentally clicked that. So she knew, Priya knew. Rebecca's follow-up question is, if the pharmacy is closed, for example, at 10 p.m. and there's been a medication for 10 p.m. medication time, who should we call? So that's regarding them if you notice a medication error, I'm assuming, or missing medication.
So I answered that. I don't know if everyone can see it, but I said I would be calling the family and ensure that you notify the supervisor. I also know you may have luck if you call another pharmacy that's open later, they may or may not be able to help you because you don't know what the medication is for. I mean, you could read it on the back of the blister pack. It lists the names of everything, but I would be contacting the family to let them know what happened and notify the supervisor.
Okay. Good. Okay. So we'll go to the next and final category or subject, and this is Susan. We'll welcome Susan back on.
All right, Susan sent me a message saying she has no internet in Keswick, so I don't know. Susan, are you there? If not, I will read it.
I can take, oh, okay.
I don't think Susan is on. I don't see her name.
Yeah,
Yes, Carol, could you read it, Carol, please?
I can do it. Or Erica, do you want to do it?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, thank you. Sorry, technology is great when it works.
That's right.
Right? Okay, everyone, we're going to move on to mindfulness at work and how important it is. This is actually a message from our Joint Health and Safety Committee. They wanted us to bring this to your attention. Everybody's going through a lot of challenges with COVID, especially the last year and a half. So it's really important that we get our feet steady and be able to work and move forward in a safe manner. So we recognize that the challenges of working through this pandemic have brought additional stress and anxiety for all of us. Take a minute each day to reflect on how you are feeling and performing at work. Think about how you can find small opportunities to take a breath, de-stress, and decompress from the constant pressures. Mindfulness at work means focusing on the task at hand, following safety procedures, donning appropriate personal protective properly, and always staying vigilant. Being mindful on the job lowers the chances of causing or getting involved in an accident. Here are some helpful tips to keep you mindful at work. Stay focused and present. Be attentive to the tasks at hand. If your mind is on other things, you have a greater potential to be injured. Get lots of rest. Get enough sleep every night. Take your breaks at work. That is so important these days. Take your breaks at work. Don't try to work through them. You need that rest. You need that break from everything. Do some deep breathing between clients. Being overtired can result in not paying attention to safety issues and a slowed reaction time. Keep vigilant. Know that injuries can happen to everyone if we aren't watchful to our safety protocols. Take an active role in your own safety. Make sure you are properly trained to do all aspects of your job safely. Make sure you feel safe performing the task you are doing and report all workplace hazards to your supervisor. Ask for help when you need it. There are times you may need help, including when you are lifting heavy items or when a client's mobility declines. Talk to your supervisor if you need more help. Time pressures. It's important that you take a few minutes before you begin a task to think about the potential hazards and how you can protect yourself. Then tackle the task slowly and deliberately. If you need more time to manage a task safely, speak to your supervisor. Anybody have any questions in regards to mindfulness at work? Something that might work for you while you're working or in this situation with COVID at work, anything that's helping you that you want to share with your fellow staff members, anything? No, nothing in the chat box. I don't see anything. Any hands up, Pam?
No, I don't think so. There was a question in the chat box about medications, but we'll finish up this section and we'll go back to that question.
Oh, okay. Yes, I see that there.
Yeah. Any questions about mindfulness at work? Okay, so we're gonna go into the poll,
Right.
our final poll of the day. Oh.
Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 3, how mindful do you think you are at work? 1, my mind wanders a lot. I'm trying and be more mindful. 2, I'm pretty mindful at work, but there's room for improvement. 3, I'm very focused and present at work. And remember, these polls are completely anonymous. We don't know who answers what, so try to be truthful so we you know, and if you ever need more information, reach out to your supervisor and see what we can help offer to you.
Okay, they're coming in. About 50% of you are voted. Some of you are still thinking about it, which is good, reflecting.
Mm-hmm.
How mindful do you think you are at work? We have about, yeah, I'm just going to give another couple seconds and then I'm going to share the results with you. Okay, I'm going to end this poll and we'll take a look at the results. So 48% of you said, I'm pretty mindful at work, but there's room for improvement. 42% said, I'm very focused and present at work. And 10% said, my mind wanders a lot. I'm going to try and be more mindful. Yeah. Do you want to say anything else about that, Erica?
No, I think if you're one of the 10% that says that your mind wanders, it's always a good opportunity to maybe look up mindfulness exercises. I'm sure you can find something on the internet. Maybe one of your coworkers has some exercises for you. If not, talk to your supervisor to see what we can do to help you out with that.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing these results.
Mm-hmm.
Carol, did you want to, before we go on, did you want to address that last question? It was in the chat because other people might,
Yeah.
There was a question from Juliana that said, are we allowed to help clients with the glucose monitor on their arm?
So I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean that was called Free Libre, or I think there's other companies that make those now? Juliana, is that what you're meaning?
I wonder if Juliana can unmute herself.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming because that's on their arm. So that's what I'm thinking that she's meaning. You see that on the commercials. There's lots of commercials.
Yeah.
Now there's one that I think it's Taidomi's son that's advertising another brand. I can't remember the name of it. I know the first one that I remember seeing was called Free Libre. It's where you have like some kind of, almost looks like a small cell phone, and then you just scan the puck, and if that's what you are talking about, then yes, we are allowed to assist that. But really, if the clients have that, they don't need a whole lot of assistance. Maybe they can't reach their arm across to scan it. I believe that little puck can go other parts of your body that might be easier for the client to reach. But yes, that is allowed. But anytime you see something that a client has that you're not used to or that's new for you, you need to report that immediately to your supervisor for follow-up, because we need to know what's going on.
Are you allowed to help them?
Well, yes, Juliana?
Yes. She always asks me to do it every 2 weeks. So I always change it for her every 2 weeks.
Oh, so you're taking it off and putting it on?
Yes, on her hand. Yes.
And is the supervisor aware of this?
No, because one of my coworkers, she has been doing it before, so she's not. She didn't do it anymore, so I continue from there.
All right. So it has to be on the care. Everything has to be on the care plan. So I know that I did some research into that Free Libre when it first came out, because I think a lot of the pharmacies or doctors were then prescribing it for the clients because it makes it's easier for them. It's not as invasive. I'll have to get back with that information because I'm pretty sure we were able to assist with it. But the supervisor has to know. We can't just be doing things if it's not on the care plan. We need to know what's going on.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
We had a client in Heritage who had that same thing, and I had asked Kim about it, and Kim had said, if they can self-direct, yes, we are allowed to help. But if it's someone who can't self-direct, then no, we're not allowed to replace it every 2 weeks.
Yeah, everything with self-direct. But I do have some documentation in my notes somewhere about that Free Libre. And if we have questions, we go to our IPAC nurses for assistance with that. But with, like I said, any change that the client makes to their medication or their, the glucometer or whatever, the supervisor has to be aware of it, and changes have to be made to the care plan so that you know, when you're not there, the next person walking in has that information as well.
Well, that's good that we have these training sessions because we
Absolutely.
clarify things like that, right? All these new
Absolutely.
things.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay, so.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry, but I got disconnected.
Oh, Susan, you're back. Nice to see you.
Yes, but there's a beeping sound. It's coming from from our internet the modem setup, so it's been chipping in and out all day.
No worries. Don't worry. We said technology is great when it works.
We're on our last slide, so I'll put
I
it
can
back.
do this if I can do this if
Oh, whatever, it's fine. Erica, you just go ahead.
Okay.
No problem.
Well, we just want to say thank you to everyone who has joined us this afternoon. It's been so nice to see everybody, hear these amazing questions, and hopefully clarify some things, especially with new procedures like Pam just mentioned. I hope you all either learned something new today or had a nice refresher on some policies. Again, if you have any questions in regards to any of the policies or anything that we spoke about today, please reach out to your supervisor. We'd be more than happy to answer those. If you somehow come into get a question later on today, or you start thinking about something and then not sure or didn't have a chance to ask it tonight or today, sorry, definitely reach out to your supervisor. Everybody will be receiving a policy newsletter. So the day programs would have received theirs from their supervisor. This newsletter has been left at the AL sites for everybody, and for the community staff, it has been put in your PPE. So this newsletter has 3 more policies on it. It's the least restraint policy, suicide prevention policy, and then do not resuscitate policy. So these all need to be reviewed. When you're done reviewing it, please let your supervisor know, okay? And you will be entered to win a $25 gift card. So make sure you let your supervisor know by February the 22nd. You're also going to be receiving an evaluation in regards to these quarterly meetings in your email as well. So please feel free to fill that out freely. We definitely want to hear everybody's feedback as to how everybody was able to join and things that they learned or things that we can improve on. You're also going to receive an email in regards to a mindfulness exercise, which will be really good practice for everybody. So you'll be receiving these next week. You're also going to be seeing some CARF training like we spoke about earlier in the meeting. So keep checking your email for more Zoom education. Again, these are not mandatory. If you're able to attend and it works with your schedule, we definitely encourage each and every one of you to come in and learn. And ask questions if necessary, and that is a really good opportunity to learn more about what we're going through right now. So again, not mandatory. Don't feel that you have to move your entire schedule around to make it, but definitely if you can, it's strongly encouraged. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And this is the end of our meeting.